Okay, welcome everybody. This is Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. I am the founder of the Circle Grace One, and many of you know that I have turned into a writer since 2018. But actually, I was writing articles and blogs long before that, before I came to uh, New Jersey from 2005 to 2009 to here, New Mexico. New Mexico here from November 2011 up to the present time. But since the past 6 years, I've actually have revised my first book here, Dancing in the Light of Divine Grace, through Amazon.com. And then I wrote six more books. And my most recent book, which you just showed up here in the thumbnail, is this book, Radiant Heart: Seven Amazing Pathways to Connect, Activate, and Communicate with Your Higher Self. Well, the reason I'm coming on today is because I want to let you know that if you want to get an autographed copy of this new book, Radiant Heart: Seven Amazing Pathways to Connect, Activate, and Communicate with Your Higher Self, you could actually purchase the book through me. And all you're going to pay is $25 like you do on Amazon, but I'll let you pay a flat rate, postage rate of $3. So all you would be sending me is $28 to get an autographed copy of Radiant Heart: Seven Amazing Pathways to Connect, Activate, and Communicate with Your Higher Self. Now, in the description below, you can read about it more if you want on my website, www.circleofgrace with the number one at the end of that .us. Or you can simply email me. Email me at iam.circleofgrace1 at gmail.com. Just email me at iam.circleofgrace1 at gmail.com, and I'll give you all the ways in which you can purchase the book from me directly. Now, what happens is I'm sending out clusters of books once a month, about a dozen of those books. I'm getting a dozen of books in right now, actually 23 books in this week, but those books are already designated for other people. So if you want to be in the batch of books, box 4, 5, 6, and so forth, which will be sent out sometime in May, then I suggest that you email me. Now, the reason why I'm doing this because I haven't seen my royalties from Amazon. But however, that's not going to stop me from getting this book out to the public. So, one of the things about this book, this is a very timely book right now. I've been talking about the higher self for the past 6, 7, 8 months to a year. In fact, I've been teaching my meditation students out here, as well as those back east online, but ones out here in Albuquerque in person every Saturday for the past 2 years. I've been utilizing my original Creative Path Work meditation techniques to help them connect with their higher self. And this book contains seven of those pathways, actually giving you more guided meditation techniques, but I'll also introduce to you how you can utilize things like yoga, how you could also utilize sound and light. That's, if you come here on YouTube channels, you will see a lot of binaural beats embedded in subliminal meditation music. Most of them are attached to the hertz cycles, like the 741 hertz cycle, 471 hertz cycle, 528, 825, and so forth, 369, 693, 963. So you can listen to those various ones, and they are acclimated to the people who are producing them. The creators are putting out a lot of good information to open your pineal gland, to, develop psychic abilities, clairvoyant abilities, intuitive things, to become more of an empath. But this book actually gives you some very definitive steps so that you could read along in this book. Take your time and begin within 6 months. I can guarantee at least within 6 months, you will have a stronger connection with your higher self. Now, some people are starting to have that connection right now. And we just had a major solar eclipse with the sun in Aries. That affected a lot of people. If you got ascendant in your natal chart, if your ascendant sign was Aries, you were affected. If you're born under the sun sign Aries, you were affected. If you had planets from your natal chart in Aries or crossing through your chart right now in Aries, you were being affected. Some people had sinus congestion, aches and pains around the face, in the jaws, soreness, sinus congestion was very, very heavy. A lot of people were feeling groggy. I know myself, I was feeling 96 hours even before the earthquake. I knew about an earthquake. My joints were aching all in my body. I was having almost blurred vision a little bit. But these are the things that happen because it's also that barometric pressure that goes on, and when the tectonic planes shift all over the world, it releases gases all over the world, and so things are being felt in different ways by different people. And now, more so than any other time, we left the age of Pisces, according to many astrologers, we left the age of Pisces and firmly opened up into Aquarius on January 15th of 2024. That happens to be the late Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. So what a happy birthday for him. He's in spirit land. But I just want to share with you the fact that you're getting a lot of information. Now, people say they're being downloaded. Okay. And I used to say that too. But the more I got into my meditation, I was realizing that I was uploading. I'm going to say that again. The more I got into my meditation, I realized I was being uploaded. Why? Because these things are embedded layer by layer in our sympathetic nerve system, known as our chakras, and the meridians running through the body, which the Chinese have said about 10,000 years ago, 9,000 years ago, we got 365 meridian points in the body. And here's another thing, there's so many people who used to speak against astrology, used to speak against numerology, used to speak against yoga, used to speak against certain martial arts, so they could tell their people that was following them to demonize those things. But behind closed doors, many of those people were studying those things until they themselves became proficient enough. So, what I want to share with you is now's the time to begin to shift the timeline. We know that through a lot of studies, intelligent agencies with our government and other governments around the world have have always studied time travel. They know about it. They experimented with it, but they kept their military people hushed under oath. Can't say anything about it. Why? For national security. Oh, well, come on. Everybody on this planet eventually is going to learn how to time travel. Everybody on this planet does it through the dream world. Yeah, you go back in time through the dream world. And the quantum theory is that these timelines are running through you, parallel to each other and bleeding into each other. So that means past is bleeding into the present. Future is bleeding into the present. You can experience a lot of this through what they call lucid dreaming, LUCID dreaming. That's where you wake up in your sleep consciously while your body's asleep and you realize that you are dreaming. A lot of us are going through those things all the time. We don't always recognize it. But now we have opportunities to receive this information at this new era of time for ourselves. This is an opportunity where we can delve into these deeper states of ourself and develop ourselves. Not only just learn from other people like myself or my good buddy Lloyd Strayhorn, you can learn numerology. There's many people teaching the science of card reading, which is cardology. You read about palmistry, that's been around for a long time. Understanding how to read the tarot cards, gemstones, reading smoke in the air, or for sage, reading candle flames. All these things have always been here around us, but mainstream for a very long time. And certain people in those circles would put thumbs down on it. Well, now the door is opening up within yourself. In the deeper sea of your own consciousness, you can now begin to go inside and begin to remember your state of divinity and your state of spirituality, your state of metaphysics, your state of mysticism and the mysteries. This is a time now where we are receiving greater revelation about who we truly are. But we have to spend the time. We have to devote time. We have to be disciplined to present these things, find these things, clarify our life more. So all we have to do is do meditation every day until you have that breakthrough. Do meditation every day. Do your yoga every day. Walk every day. Maybe pay attention to internal detoxing, doing that 3 and 4 times a year. Finding ways to help elevate yourself into a new start. See, this is a time when we can reset where we are headed. Now, many people are going to be afraid to move forward because their minds have been tainted with misdirection. They've actually have gotten the truth, but backwards, but they've been misdirected or subliminally through the subliminal consciousness, which is way down there with your subconscious mind, not to pay attention to anything that could help free your mind. So we want to be able to do that. We want to be able to allow ourselves to step forward, reboot, reset our mind, or the brain, I should say. Reset your nervous system and the sympathetic nerve system. Reset your chakras. In other words, open up to your chakras more. Understand how they affect you emotionally, mentally, psychologically, physically. Really start to study these things on a deeper level so that you can be always in position, always ready to embrace new opportunities that are very positive for you. Things that you have been praying for, things you'll lay in decrees and affirmations and affirmative prayers for, things that you've been meditating and visualizing for yourself. So, this book, I'm beginning to autograph books where people purchase the book directly from me. This book on Amazon, I have it up there on Amazon for $25, but you're going to wind up paying the tax and the shipping and postage when you could actually put an order in with me, a direct order to get this book. And I will autograph the book on the inside for you. On the title page will be my autograph. And all you have to do is send me $25 plus a flat rate for shipping, posting, which is $3. If you want to pay more, you can, but I'm just requesting that you send me $28 so I can autograph the book for you. Give me your best address, your best physical address. Now, all you have to do is email me at iam.circleofgrace1 at gmail.com. And I'll give you all the ways. Some people like to use Zelle. I have that. Some people like to use Cash App. I have that. Some people like to use PayPal. I have that. Venmo. I have that. So that's four different ways right there. Or you can send me a money order. I'll accept that. And if we get to know each other better, I will accept your debit or credit card over the phone because I have a means in which to do that as well. And I don't keep that data. Once I put it on there, once it goes through, I delete it out. So you don't have to worry about someone borrowing your data. So let me introduce you to some of the things that are in this book. I have information in here where I cross reference to some of my other books, like The Wisdom of Akhenaten as I Am. Some of that information had to be placed in this book. Also, material from beloved Nefertiti, from her book that I channeled, which was called The Gift, The Wisdom of Nefertiti as I Am. One of those chapters had to be utilized in this book. The one from Akhenaten was chapter 6, The Path of the Cobra, because that's another way. And that's embedded in this book because you can give yourself a self initiation through that. And it doesn't harm the body whatsoever. But I tell you, that's one of the things I do say one or two places in this book is that this book may not be for everybody. Everybody may not be ready for this book because there are many people fighting mental illness issues, post traumatic syndrome issues. You know, there are many people, like a lot of vets or people who have suffered other traumatic physical experiences in their life. They haven't healed from all of that. They've been fractured. So, not everybody could utilize this book. And so I state that in a couple of places because I don't want anybody saying, hey, my book caused me to jump off the deep end. You want to make sure you're ready for this book. So I even ask people who are experiencing things like that to run it past their health provider. Yeah, actually ask your doctor, ask your mental health therapist, ask your psychotherapist, show them the book, tell them about the book, let them get the book to see if there's anything in there that will not trigger you. Now, there are 25 chapters in this book. This book is broken up into four parts. On one of my video clips about this book last month or so, I was letting you know what those four definitive sections are. And I'm just going to repeat a few of them to you. Go back to the table of contents. One of the things you need to know is the foundation. Why I selected this book, under what circumstances I decided to write this book. It took me about a year, 6 months to bring it all together. So we have the foundation. I talk about the book Radiant Heart, what Radiant Heart actually means. I speak of what the Circle Grace One that I have means. I let you know that we are never alone. We're never alone in this world learning things. I give you dreams, meditation, and guided meditation information. I introduce to you the infinite systems or keys of living light. There are many systems around us, and we have to learn how to take advantage of the systems. Then my creative pathwork meditation system, is in this book. And it gives you an opportunity to find yourself, raise your frequency a little higher for yourself so you can get what you want. For those of you that are tuning in, I didn't announce this. I just needed to come on and let you all know that if you want to get an autographed copy of this book, you should email me, Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey, at iam.circleofgrace1 at gmail.com. Hey, Rux, how you doing? I was just thinking about you not too long ago. I hope everything's going well with you. This is my latest book on Amazon, and I'm letting people know that if you want to receive an autographed copy of this book, I will autograph it on the title page. You send me $25 plus a flat postage rate of $3. So it costs you $28. If you want to send a little more, you can. But I will autograph the book for you and send it to your direct mailing address. All you have to do is email me at iam.circleofgrace1 at gmail.com, and I have it below in the description box. When you email me and request that you want to get the particulars, I'll give you the 5 or 6 different ways in which you could pay for the book. I got a Cash App account, I got a Venmo account, I got a PayPal account. you know, I can take your debit or credit card over the phone, or you can send me a money order, and I'll give you the designated address to send me a personal money order. So when I get it, we clear it, I get a book out to you within 2 to 3 weeks. I've got 2 books already, 2 boxes literally, which is about 24 books already taken. So people already paid for them. So I want to talk about this book a little more so that you get some understanding about the book itself. So one of the things people need to know about Radiant Heart and why it's the very first chapter in this book is because I don't know if you're aware of this or not, that your heart, your physical heart, gives off more energy than your brain. Our physical heart gives off more energy, radiates more energy out within our auric field in the atmosphere around our body than our brain. Doing a little research, we got these, it's said to carry about a capacity of 1.4 volts. Each cell in your body is carrying 1.4 volts of electricity. So, can you imagine if your whole body was lit with light and energy? We would be like a freaking light bulb. You would be brighter than the light bulb in your house through those trillions of cells. We got like 50 trillion cells in the body. Now, the thing that we have to realize is that we are spiritual sentient beings. What that means is we sense energy. We can sense from which direction energy is coming from. We know, just like our ancestors who are more tuned to the earth and the sky, we can determine if something is coming from a loved one, a stranger, quote, quote, so called enemy, the person you don't get along with. We also can feel that energy coming from the north of you, the south of you, the east, the west, above, beneath you, and into your body. So, what I'm saying here is this book will help you get on the ball with meditation. Now, some people, now I've been a meditator since 1971 in the middle of my freshman year of college. And when you learn how to meditate for yourself, You're going to have some ins and outs. You're going to have some rocky seas some days. Some days you're not going to feel like meditating. And I always tell people, like a lot of my psychotherapist friends would tell their clients, the one day you don't feel like being bothered with therapy, that's the day you need to go. The one day you don't feel like being bothered, you should go. Why? Because you can release pent up energy, worry, anxiety, and meditation will help you overcome worries and anxieties. But you have to do it consistently. That's very important. Thank you, Rux. You have to do it consistently. You have to do it every day. Now, my students out here in Albuquerque, some of them have been with me 2 years now, and they ask often, well, how many times should I meditate? And I have thoughts racing through my mind all the time. Well, this is what I say about the racing thoughts. You can't cover all of them. You can't cancel all of them out. And the reason for that is they come upon you very quickly. You're in a sea of communication from a cell phone to an iPad, notepad, laptop, desktop, radio, TV, cell phone towers, electrical towers connected to the train station. I got a train station about 20 minutes walking distance east of my place where I live. I could feel the energy off of that because we become more sensitive when we begin to meditate. You become more sensitive if you're doing a yoga, if you're a marathon runner, track star, if you're somebody who's doing yoga, qigong, tai chi, you become sensitive to your environment. And we have to know how to protect that personal space. And what we have to remember is the particles in the air, in the oxygen, and I always say this to people, is loaded with divine intelligence. I'm going to say that again. The particles, electromagnetic particles in the air coming through the oxygen are loaded with divine intelligence. That means you can get into the frequency and begin to communicate with that molecular structure and atomic structure. And once you establish that rhythm, that communication, it starts to carry your thoughts out into the ethers. And since it carries it out into the ethers, it circulates through and eventually comes back. So our thoughts are always going out and gathering information and bringing it back to us. There's no doubt. Now, I mentioned a little earlier, and when you replay this, you'll hear me say it, that there have been many people who used to say thumbs down on these kind of sciences because they didn't want anybody from their congregation tuning into the psychic, to the intuitive, to the gifted healers, the pranic healers, the Reiki masters. They didn't want them tuning into that so that they could govern them. They could, direct them. But they didn't tell their congregation a long time ago that they themselves were studying all of this stuff. And now more and more people who are doing this are coming out. Now, this solar eclipse was a day of revelation because it quaked something. That earthquake shook something. What it shook is the foundation where people were being misdirected away from themselves. And now it's time for all of us to reboot. So, this book that I wrote basically is right on time because it's all about connecting, activating, and then communicating with your higher self. And that communication is nonstop. That connection is nonstop. That's activation is nonstop. Once you get it, it's there with you. And one of the things you discover through this book is that The higher self is not way out there somewhere, walking around waiting for you. The higher self is laying dormant on the inside of you. I'm going to say that again. Your higher self, everybody's higher self, man, woman, or child, is not outside. It's not thousands of miles away from you. Your higher self is embedded on the inside of you. And your higher self, that part of yourself that contains infinite divine consciousness, infinite divine wisdom, everyday wisdom called mother wit, grandmother wit, has always been with you and you have always been in it. You ever see those pictures at a perspective where you see quarter after quarter after quarter after quarter? It's just like that on the inside of you. You are inside the higher self. The higher self is inside of you till infinity. Infinity. It's always there. You just have to realize that it's there. Your higher self is the one that talks to you in the dream world. Yeah, your higher self is constantly communicating. If it doesn't communicate to you in your waking world, when you fall asleep at night, it sends the message out when you are properly aligned in your sleep. It sends the message to you when you are properly aligned in your meditation. When you have the proper state of awareness and remembrance and clarity of your mind, you receive information. Now, sometimes people say, I'm receiving a lot and I don't know what it is. It's like static. You could adjust that staticky sound that you're getting by changing the way that you breathe. If you change the way that you breathe, all of that static energy will begin to slow down and rock in rhythm with your inhalation and your exhalation. It'll start to connect with the rhythm of your heartbeat. Mm. You'll be able to do this. This book simply helps you how to do it. I give you 7 basic steps. Now, you can use them individually or you can use them all together. Now, I tell people when they get the book, not to skip steps, not to jump from. I mean, you might look at the different chapters, but you want to go in a specific order because it builds your foundation. That's the important thing. I'm helping you build a foundation within yourself so that every time you sit for meditation, your foundation of your meditation gets stronger. You become more relaxed. You can stay alert and still be relaxed and not have a worry in your mind, but yet be attentive to your environment. That means when you're sitting in meditation, you know somebody's trying to call you. Eventually, you'll be able to tune into that frequency and say to yourself, oh, that's not an important call. I'll just let it slide. I'm in meditation. See, so meditation is something you got to do every day. People say, well, what's the proper time to meditate? Well, some of the most sacred times to do meditation is anywhere between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. in the morning. This is when the world seems to be very still. It is also the time when people are doing a lot of spiritual magic, occult magic, or again, astral travel, which is out of body experience, or what Akhenaten and Nefertiti call soul traveling. It's also the time when people are in deep dreaming state where they're experiencing the lucid dreaming. So there's many times when we are getting this information coming and going with ourselves. And we have to realize there are certain times a day. Now, not everybody can wake up and prepare themselves to sit in meditation from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. for an hour or 2 hours. Why? Because their sleeping patterns are off and their higher self is not directing them to do that. You'll know when you're going to do it because you get a feeling for it. And that feeling is persistent. And then when you tune into that feeling, you start having a telepathic conversation with your higher self through feeling alone. And then you know, okay, I got to make time to sit down and receive this information. Usually as a beginner, just if you've never meditated before, usually as a beginner, it's good to meditate for maybe sit for at least 10 minutes. Some people have difficulty sitting 5 minutes, so they got to stretch it to 10 minutes. At least 10 minutes. If you can do that every day, or at least 3 times a day, or 3 times or 4 times a week, then you're on the road of self mastery. Eventually, you want to meditate 20 minutes a day because 20 minutes is a little stronger for you energetically. By that time, you have control over your muscles, so you're not creating tension in the face. You're not interrupting the vagus nerve running down through the head and down into the neck. You are really providing the proper energetic space for your physical body to be relaxed into that space. And then your emotional body calms down and becomes centered. And then your mental body calms down and that begins to link up with your emotional body. See, when the mental state is on the same page with the emotional state, when they're in harmony with each other, the divine spirit energy can settle into the body. On the inside, your higher self can stand up inside of you and begin to connect. So it's very important. Maybe start with 10 minutes meditation every day, or at least 5 days out of the week. And then do it twice a day. Now, when you're doing it twice a day, you're giving yourself the privilege to experience meditation and you're preparing yourself to extend the meditation. So after a while, you're doing it, and then you're able to do it 3, 4, 5 times, maybe 6 times a week or every day, and you're going to find the zone. You might find that waking up in the morning is better for you. Some people can clear away some time. They got the midday. Midday is noon up to about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then people like to meditate when they come home from work. And people that work home, your schedule is different. There's some days when you can just rest in your office, your home office. You can do some exercise routines. You can go for a walk and then come back. You have a different setup than the person that's got to go in and out of a building, in and out of a hospital, school, elementary, you name it, college. You don't have that real free time, but you have to make time so that you can develop your skill. Now, once you can meditate for at least 20 minutes consistently, then the following week, after about 2 or 3 weeks, the following week, you add on 5 more minutes and do that for a week or 2 weeks. Get more comfortable. Now you got 30, you got 25 minutes. So you're going to increase it by 5. Next thing you know, you're sitting for an hour and you feel comfortable being seated for an hour. So meditation is ample. And I use the word ample because you got to apply yourself. You got to give yourself permission to sit for a longer period of time. Now, I've grown accustomed to my 53 years of meditation. About 30 years ago, I was doing that. I was increasing my meditation periods. And then I said, okay, I'm going to meditate Thursdays. Thursday night before going to bed, I would give myself at least an hour to 30 minutes. and I would go into meditation. And that felt good. Why? Because I was clearing my mind so that when I would fall off into sleep and I would get to that rapid eye movement time frame, which is the borderline of alpha and theta, then I was able to experience my sleep, experience my dream world, experience my meditation on a whole nother level. Because everything appeared to me to be suspended in time. Time didn't exist. So when you meditate for long periods of time, it'll feel like you've just been sitting there 20 minutes and you realize, oh my God, I've been here an hour, hour and a half. So you can start developing yourself that way. It's the ideal plan. Now, I don't use music all the time in the background, but sometimes you can put on music at a number two or a three to mask out additional sound. You can hear sound, from light fixtures in your home. You can hear it in your cell phone, your laptop, your TV set. You can hear sound outside your place of residence. So sometimes having a little music playing in the background allows you to kind of fall into that zone where you can hear the music and then you can go a little deeper in your meditation. The whole idea is to unlock the door of your subconscious mind and your conscious mind so you can experience your higher self reawakening itself in you. Now, once that is made, you never really stop unless something startles you out of being centered and being at peace. Sometimes we can have people, work environment where people are agitating you. Some people have relationships at home with this agitation going on. Some people, walk to work and get interrupted because somebody's talking to them. And there's a lot of people who will do that. Just like people see you on your phone, they don't want you talking on the phone, so they'll come right up to you, so you get diverted to them. Well, eventually you'll be able to sit in meditation and people will try to sit across from you, try to get your attention. But you'll be deep enough in the meditation where you're controlling your response. You don't get upset because they're bothering you. You would just get upset because you allowed them to bother you. But the next time you sat in an environment, you'll claim that personal space, arm's length all the way around, and then you'll triple that space, quadruple that space. Next thing you know, you've commanded 10 feet around you. Nobody's going to sit in that space unless they come into the space with a compassionate heart, with a peaceful state of mind, with kindness and understanding. But you can charge the atmosphere up with those thoughts and feelings, and people don't enter your space, not even your personal space. So you want to make sure that you do your meditation daily. Take care of yourself. Now, not one that's going to tell somebody to be a vegetarian or vegan. I'm not even there yet myself, but I've been working on it. I'm not going to tell you to stop eating this and stop eating that and do this and do that because I'm not a drill sergeant. But I'm someone who's been studying meditation for 53 years and applying it for 53 years. So I know it works. I know it works. Eventually, I get my students to sit in silence, absolute silence. Now, sometimes they meet the higher self in absolute silence, and other times you don't. But you have to give yourself credit for being able to sit. See, when you're sitting in meditation, you're trying not to look for the higher self. You're trying not to do that. What you're wanting to do is just sit quietly. That means without moving around too much. And eventually you don't pay attention to all those thoughts racing through your mind. You don't worry about, okay, I gotta go to the bank, pay a bill, I gotta prepare some food for myself or for my family or my children, or I gotta go walk the dog or feed the dog. Hey, you'll do all those things on time when you do more meditation for yourself. When you do more meditation for yourself, you'll be able to help the cat, the dog, your children, your collective family members. You'll be able to help people. Why? Because they realize you're this transformer pulsating and they want to bathe in that energy. You become this transformer, this antenna. You become a generator and people can feel it because you're the one that's radiating it from here and from the heart center. And eventually, I have students do it from their hands and the soles of their feet to really extend that energy as they inhale and exhale. This is very important. So, I just wanted to come on and let you know that you can buy the book directly from me. In fact, you can buy any of my books directly. Just list them, and I'll make sure I get them together, get them, autograph them, and send them out to you. So you can go on Amazon, look up this full book, Radiant Heart: 7 Amazing Pathways to Connect, Activate, and Communicate with Your Higher Self. That's my authentic name there. And you can say, hey, I think, I'm going to order this book. Again, just send me $25. It's a paperback book, and add on an additional $3 for a flat rate fee for postage. If you want to pay more, it's okay. But if you email me first at iam.circleofgrace1@gmail.com, I could give you all the ways in which you can pay me that in order to get your autograph book. And once I get the books, because I'm ordering books every month, so my next batch of books I will order in maybe the end of this month, going into April. I mean, going into May, because I already got 23 books, 12 books in one box, and 11 books in another box, and those two boxes are already taken. Uh, People, I got to send 12 out to people who already paid in advance through me. So every month I'll be sending out books. Now, here's something else you might want to know about this book. Okay, good, Rux, and I'll get that information to you right away. You'll probably get your book uh, in May because I'll be able to send it out. I might get it out a little earlier to you. Here's one of the things that I wrote in this book. Let me see if I even put some 8 affirmations to help empower you that you could think about, that you can utilize. And I believe it's on 175 in my book. And I wrote these to help you gain a better foothold for yourself. You know, when meditation should be done in such a way that you are celebrating your life. Meditation should be done in such a way so that you are celebrating your life. And this is important because if you are aware that you are celebrating your life all the time, then you are allowing yourself to feel better about yourself. We are in a society where our self-esteem is erased, our self-confidence is erased, our ability to think for ourselves is erased. And we can't afford that anymore. So we want to make some changes. And what I want you to realize is that you We'll find out when you get this book who the higher self is. Because I hint at it throughout the book, but I don't tell you directly till you get into the fourth section of the book. But one of the things I want you to realize is you could, as soon as you get this book, you can start right away in practicing and then making it a part of your life to connect with your higher self. And this is like really essential to your well being. It's important for you to realize that now's the time. This is why um, we experienced an earthquake and this huge solar eclipse so that we can reboot. We can get back to understanding who we truly are. And the more that we do that, the better that we shall be. So I just found this section. This is chapter 11, method 5, speak as I am. And I used 8 affirmations that started on page 85 and ended on page 86. And then after that, on page 88, I gave you 5 decrees. Now, the 5 decrees are the 5 decrees of awareness and remembrance. But the affirmations are for self empowerment. And I want to share that with you right now. So even when you come back and replay this, you'll be able to utilize them. Here are the 8 affirmations for self empowerment. I affirm each and every day that I'm healthy, happy, and grateful. I affirm that I am living in harmony and my life overflows with prosperity, abundance, and the goodness of life. I affirm that I live my life with a greater sense of purpose, because that's essential. You got to have a purpose. Dr. Martin Luther King said, you got to dream. In one of those scriptural elements, it says you got to have a dream. If you don't, you'll perish. So you got to have hope. I have come to the realization that I am one with the divine source. I affirm this truth. Each morning that I awaken from a deep sleep, I affirm that I am whole and complete. So we have to tell ourselves, what is an affirmation? An affirmation is a clear, definitive statement of truth. And you know that what you're speaking is the truth. That's why it's an affirmation. It's like a hammer. You're pounding it gently into your consciousness, into your subconsciousness. I affirm that I am in a better place now than ever before in my life. That's realizing your life is in motion. I affirm that in every moment my frequency is higher and I am feeling great. You know, the late Reverend Ice used to say, you have to tell yourself how to feel. You have to tell the brain how to feel. You have to tell the body what to feel and what it feels like to feel good. If you're not doing that, if you're not programming yourself, then someone else will. Some other entity around you will. And then it goes on to say, I am feeling great joy, and I affirm that I am joyful every day of my life. And the last one, as I open my heart, I feel loved and healed through love. I affirm that I am living a peaceful and harmonious life here and now. I affirm I am one with the source of divinity within me. All is well. So you want to catapult yourself with affirmations, because these affirmations will build upon you and pave a way for you to feel the higher self. You're planting seeds not into the subconscious mind alone, but into the body of the higher self. And as it awakens and it trusts you and you trust the connection with it, then something mystical and magical happens to you. And it happens in a very positive way. Here are the 5 decrees of awareness and remembrance. I see and understand and decree that I am always aware that the divine source dwells in me as I am. Now, when you say a decree as well as an affirmation, and even if it's an affirmative prayer, you want to be able to feel the phrasing, the rhythm, and the words. Why? Because the words create an image in your mind that you can see while you're saying an affirmation, affirmative prayer, and a decree. The words I am are one of many names of the divine source, Alpha and Omega, and is known as divine I am presence. So you say, I decree that remembrance is key. I remember that I am is not the body or the mind. So we experienced that earthquake, right? 4.8. We experienced the solar eclipse right on top of it, right behind it. We experienced aftershocks right behind it. But we have to remind ourselves we're just not this physical form now. And as we convince ourselves we're not just this physical form, we are whole new energy is waiting to be released. So we have to get in touch with that energy. Prayer does it, affirmations does it, affirmative prayer does it, decrees does it, and so does meditation. I remember people used to say, oh, affirmations don't work. And I used to laugh because I had that thought in my mind like the late Reverend Ike. You can't lose with the stuff I use, but you got to work it. You just can't do it one time. You have to practice over and over and over. It's just like walking. You don't walk overnight as a baby. You practice with the help of your parents, helping you strengthening your legs, and eventually you're walking because you have balance. I decree that remembrance is key. I remember that I am is not the body or my mind. I am one with divine source. When we say that we're one with divine source, that means infinite divine source or spirit or metaphysical being that is beyond man made time. I decree that the light within me is infinite, and as I radiate this light, all dreams and visions are illuminated. Can you imagine that? Every dream that you have gets lit with light. Every vision that you have shines bright so that you can see it, experience it, hear it, and remember it. The words I think and speak are codified with divine energies, and these energies free me from all limitations. So we've been taught to be limited, to not think outside the box, as they say, to not desire something better, just stay in a little environment. But let's say you had to stay in a little environment. Well, then in your mind, that little environment is your castle. I'm going to say that again. If you had to stay in a little environment, then you make that little environment your castle. It's bigger to you because you see it within your mind huge. I see and decree that my light within belongs to divine source. And I remember there are no separations, but only unity and oneness. See, when you become truly connected to something, It frees you up, but you also free it up as well. Now, I decree that as I continue to evolve my consciousness, it expands into infinite realms of thinking, being, and knowing. So that means once we break through the old paradigms, the old programming, we can't be set back anymore. We're looking for more. We're looking for something bigger and better. We're looking for something that increases our health, increases our stamina, makes us more youthful in our appearance, where we feel more protected because we're drawing on the protective energy so much that we become it. I decree that I am is the presence of my own divinity and light from within that continuously radiates from my own heart. I see and decree that I am growing in my awareness and remembrance, that I am a self realized being that is whole and complete. So when you start using affirmations, create a journal, just like you create a dream journal. Create a journal for affirmations, affirmative prayers. You're writing your own prayers. It's not reading a standard prayer, but learning how to write your own prayer. When you write your own prayer, it's going to be closer to you and you're going to blossom better because it's coming from your own words, from your own heart, and from the thoughts you have in your mind. You got to allow yourself to receive and embrace. We all have to do it. So that's why I said that solar eclipse we had yesterday is an opportunity for us to reboot, to reset, to look at our goals. Maybe we want to change them. Nothing has to be written in stone, but it has to be written so that we can see it. So I'm going to sign off now. But remember, I want you to have this book. Anybody can come back here and replay. When they come back here and replay, you can tell them I'm offering an opportunity for them to get this book in their home. They send me $25 plus $3 postage, flat rate to cover the postage, and I'm going to cover the rest, whatever it is. And you get an autographed version of this book. This is the time for us to awaken. It doesn't matter who you are. This is the time to get in touch with this higher self that comes upon this earth when we come upon this earth from lifetime to lifetime. It is time for us to reawaken and learn how to utilize the higher self and find out who the higher self truly is. Because once we do that, we become unstoppable. We don't have any more fears and doubts because now we're functioning through the body light field of the higher self. That higher self has been with us for eons, even before we decided to take a physical form. So I'm going to sign off now, but I'm going to thank anyone that's on here, like Rux, who sent me an email because he wants to get an autographed copy, and I'm going to send him the ways in which he can pay me. Anybody else who tunes into this, email me at iam.circleofgrace1@gmail.com, and I'll send you all the ways in which you can pay $25 for this book from me. You're going to get it autographed, and you're going to add an additional $3 flat rate for it to be posted to you. You just got to give me the proper email, give me your proper physical mailing address so I can get it to you. And you'll start getting your books in May. Okay? Thank you for your time. I'm Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. I'm the founder of the Circle Grace One. This is book number 7 that I've written, Radiant Heart, 7 Amazing Pathways to Connect, Activate, and Communicate with Your Higher Self. And that's my name there. Take care of yourself. Have a pleasant day. And remember, this is the time not to worry. This is the time to elevate. Let us not fall into the worry. There's a lot of things out here trying to make us worry, trying to make us trip up, trying to make us fearful. We need to get on board with our higher self and march through all of that stuff, break all of that stuff down, and grow up into a divine source that's unstoppable. This book will help you get you on the road. Take care of yourself. Until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance. Look forward to doing this again. Take care. Have a fabulous week, everybody.